What's up, everybody? This is JT Bratcher, and I've been coming to First Free Will Baptist Church for a little over 6 years now. I just wanted to, take some time and kind of tell you my testimony and, about how I came to Christ, and then, what I've done, since I really got serious in my walk with Christ. And well, basically, when I was real little, I started going to church, not First Free Will Baptist Church whenever I was younger, but I was going actively and I was learning about God and things like that. But as I started to get older and into my teenage years, I was confused. I didn't really know which path to follow. I didn't really know, where to go or anything like that. And I kind of got caught up in, some like alcohol and things like that I shouldn't have been in at all. And my commitment from Christ fell, and some of my closest friends that I thought were extremely strong Christians, they were falling with me. They were falling into, alcohol and things like that. And it started destroying my life, and it was, taking such a heavy toll on me. And, I was just being around it and seeing it and things that it really messed up my mentality, and it turned me away from God almost. And that continued for, maybe 3 years or so. And I was always good at, I'd hide it in front of my parents or in front of people that weren't in charge. But behind closed doors, or, whenever I was just with my friends, it was a completely different story. I was a completely different person. And, finally, my cousins, Zach and Drew, they started coming to this church, and they found God in a way that I had never seen God before. They started, talking to me about God, and their whole demeanor changed. The whole way they acted and the whole way they looked and appeared and stuff when we hung out was completely different. And, it slowly started, because I really looked up to them. And it started to slowly change, I guess, the way that I acted and the way that I talked a little bit at a time. And they kept egging me on and kept asking me to come to church, or to come to a prayer meeting that they were having, or come to whatever this was. And like I said, I knew who God was. I knew a little about Him, but not like they did. Obviously, my life wouldn't have turned out the way that it did. I wouldn't have went down the path that I chose. But finally, I broke down, and it was over the summer, and I was like, okay, well, I'll go. I don't really know what a prayer meeting is. I've never really experienced it. I've never been there. I'll just go check it out, and then that'll be the end of it, and they'll leave me alone. So I went, and I remember getting there that night, and just through them, people in the youth group all knew me and knew who I was. And as soon as I walked in the door, they were like, oh, hey, JT, and they all came running up to me and saying hi and this and that, and just talking to me just like I was, part of the group, a normal part of the group. And it caught me off guard, but at the same time, it made me let my guard down. And that wasn't something I did very often. I had almost become hardened by the world, and I didn't open up to people too easy. But they got me to open up, and then the prayer meeting started, and I felt the Spirit of God moving in a way that I've never felt it move before. And I just remember kneeling down and praying and saying, God, I've done this before. I've been here before. And I've said I loved you and said I wanted to serve you, but God, this is different. I want this. I want what these people have. And I just remember feeling the Spirit of God, and I honestly remember breaking down and just being in tears, and then people gathering around me and praying with me and lifting me up and building me up, and, just holding me together even whenever I was completely broken down by the Spirit and torn by the Spirit. And I remember saying, God, I'm not going back. I'm not going to look back. I want to serve you, and I love you. And that's pretty much my salvation experience. That's how I came to know God. And I was fairly vocal about it. I made sure people knew, I want to love, I want to serve God. I want to learn more about God. I want to do my part. And I started getting involved, coming to church more, coming to church as much as I could, and learning about God, and, doing studies at home and reading my Bible at home. And I had to completely surround myself with Christian people and things like that, but God started to purge these things out of my life that didn't need to be there, like the language that I spoke with and the people that I hung around that were doing all these bad things and just different things like that. And he opened my eyes up to witnessing and various things like that. And since then, I guess, I've been on, various different mission trips. I've been through an organization called E-Team. I was able to go to Spain on a mission trip and also Uruguay on a mission trip, and they again altered my life for Christ and drove me closer to Him even more so in ways that I've never, known Christ before yet again. And through that, I've, answered my call to missions and to serve God on the mission field wherever He leads. And I've really, really had my life just changed through these people just embracing me and loving me and showing me that they genuinely care through services and through things that they've done outside of church. I remember countless hours extra that, Zach and Lauren had to put in, and my cousins put in with me, and my friends and people from this church put in to make sure that I was following with God and that I was doing what I needed to do. And it just, I can't thank them enough, because I wouldn't be the person I am today without them. And that pretty much sums up my salvation experience. And like I said, I accepted the call to missions recently, and I'm so ready to, just see where God takes me from there. But that pretty much sums it up, so I guess I'll talk to y'all later.